Hi, welcome to this Business Coach Kit training session. Networking is a key part of most business coaches' marketing activities. And this presentation explains how to network purposefully. So at the end of this coaching session, you will have learned how to network effectively and with purpose. And along the way, as you network, you'll probably find lots of people who network ineffectively and aimlessly. So we don't want to be doing that. Okay, first things first, fish where the fish are. So choose your networking venues with care. Free networking attracts people who can't or won't pay for things. So there's a good chance your clients, your potential clients, will not be there. You don't really want clients who can't or won't pay for things. Referral or membership groups such as BNI work well for trades and tangible products. So to illustrate that, you can probably explain to your contacts what a plumber would do for them, but it's much more challenging for the group plumber to explain to their contacts what systemization coaching is all about. So it's a bit of an asymmetric relationship. It can work, it depends on the people in the group, but just be warned. Your local chamber of commerce or similar business lobbying group will usually run lots of events. Be a great way of meeting local business people. So if you can find that kind of association and join it, I recommend you do. It's worth joining. You'll get to all the events and you'll get to pay less for each event. So you're going to be a serial networker. It's worth the investment. Finally, look at the topic. Sometimes the topic will tell you what kind of people are going to be there. But from our perspective, as long as they're business owners of the right size business with the right challenges, the topic is relatively immaterial. But certainly, for instance, if you go to events that are all about human resources, HR, what you'll find is it'll be full of HR consultants and people who run HR departments. There won't be many business owners there. Conversely, if you go to technology or information technology events, quite often there'll be people running technology businesses there because it interests them. So, topic is worth consideration. As with all marketing, we're looking for consistent, planned activity. We're not looking for people that dob in and out of marketing when they've got the time, when they aren't busy. We're looking for this as being part of our engine of growth, consistent, planned activity, so that you get good at it and you understand how to get results from it. So plan for to do a certain number of events per week. When you're just starting, this could be quite a high number. Nothing stopping you doing sort of 5 or 10 events a week if you can find them. As you get busier, you need to rein this back a bit. But I think networking pretty much always forms a part of a business coach's marketing activity. So make that happen by setting a task each week in Outlook or whatever diary it is you use to remind you to go online, find the events for the next few weeks and book the ones that you think are going to work for you. So you're always booking ahead of the time. So you firstly you get into the events, and secondly you don't have slack weeks where you've got to book any and networking falls by the wayside. Finally, have clear aims for your networking. So it'd be nice to say, well, the aim for my networking is every meeting I go to, I want to sign up a new client. Well, that's okay. But it might be a little bit more realistic to say what I want from networking is, firstly, I want a stream of qualified suspects added to my CRM. That is, people who I know are business owners. I don't necessarily know that they've got a problem that I can solve, but I'm going to put them in the database anyway. And also a stream of qualified prospects. These are people where you know they've got a problem, you had a meaningful conversation, and you've got some reason to follow up with them. So those two things coming from your networking would be make it worthwhile. Okay, some networking basics. Get there early. If it's a 2-hour networking session, you want to be doing 2 hours worth of networking. You don't want to be rolling up halfway through and only getting half the value. So get there early. There'll usually be one or two other people there early as well, so you can start off straight away talking to those. Don't forget your business cards. Be amazed the number of people that go networking and don't take any business cards. So have your business cards. And don't be shy. I mean, you may be an experienced networker, in which case just ignore the next few lines. But some people find it quite tough to break into networking to start with. And actually, it's great fun. You meet lots of interesting people and hear lots of interesting business stories. So first of all, everyone else is there for the same reason. You're not there for one reason. Everyone else has got some secret reason to be there that they're not telling you about. Everyone else is there for business. Everyone else expects to talk to strangers, or at least some strangers. So, it's not like you have to have an introduction to talk to these people. They're expecting you to walk up, strangers to walk up to them and say hello. And everyone likes talking about their business. So, there won't be a shortage of things to talk about. So don't be shy. When you walk into the event, find an open group or someone on their own. So an open group, if you've got two people standing face to face close together, they're clearly involved in the conversation. It's kind of rude to butt in. If you've got 3 or 4 people standing close together round with all their backs facing out, whereas it's saying, we're involved in a conversation. We don't want anyone else to join in. But usually at a networking event, you'll find people standing, slightly apart, slightly at an angle facing out. So there's an opening there. They're open. They want other people to come and talk to them. So find an open group. Go up and say, hi, I'm Nick. Mind if I join you, or whatever your name is, or find someone on their own. So it's quite often the case. You'll find someone there who is an aimless networker. They're hovering, looking at their phone or whatever floats their boat. So march over. Hi, mind if I join you? My name's Nick. And if in Britain, the first thing you talk about is the weather. I'm not sure if that's the case everywhere else. But, my opening gamut is usually what line of business are you in? What is it you do for a living? What's brought you to this networking event? And on it goes from there. So don't be scared. Enjoy it. And when you're talking to people, what you don't want is to spend 2 hours in a room full of 40 potential prospects and find you've only spoken to 2 people for the whole time, even though they might have been the most interesting 2 people in the whole room. So you need to have a kind of a disciplined approach to this. So qualify quickly and move on politely. So the qualification in our line of business, really easy. Is it your own business? So if you say, hello, I'm Nick. What line of business are you in? I'm a solicitor. Is it your own business? Well, I'm a partner. Okay, let's proceed. If they say, no, I've just joined. Okay, they're not going to be your client. All right. So, it's really to just march off. So you probably would talk for a few minutes. And then there's all sorts of ways of breaking out of that, including, oh, look, I've just seen someone over there I need to talk to. Do please excuse me. They will understand. It will happen to you as well. People's eyes glaze over and that they want to go and talk to someone else. It just, everyone circulates. So you want to talk to as many prospects as possible. So qualify quickly and move on. When asked, what is it you do? You will be asked. People will ask you immediately usually. Use your 60 seconds, your elevator pitch. Don't ramble on. Okay? I have been networking and spoken to people, and 10 minutes after I've been listening to them for 10 minutes, I still don't know what they do. Or they do 23 different things and I've no idea which of those they do well. Okay, so don't be an aimless amateur networker. When you're asked, what is it you do? Simple, clear message. Niche, pain, solution, benefits. Don't say, I'm a business coach, because their eyes will glaze over. Say something like, okay, I work with entrepreneurs who've got their business to a certain size, around 5 to 10 employees, and they're finding it difficult to grow any further because they're having to work through other people. So I help them systemize their business, by which I mean I put in processes, systems, key performance indicators, structure, a strategy and a business plan. This allows the entrepreneur to focus back on growing the business because he knows his team can run the business. Okay, so simple, clear message. And you practice that, you said it a few dozen times, it will come quite easily. Having answered the question, this is what I do, shut up. You don't want to go to a networking meeting and spend all the time talking. What you want is people that you've qualified as prospects to be talking about their business. And what you're doing, your ears are flapping, listening for problems. Okay. Sometimes you have to prompt it. If everything seems to be rosy in their garden, how you prompt it. How is X affecting your business? There is always an X, whether it's something the government's just done or the economy's doing or something particular to that industry or some other change. How is X affecting your business? So you're just kind of giving them another go at coming out and saying, oh, this is a problem and that's a problem. It won't always happen, but don't just talk about the weather. You want to exchange business cards. I don't know what the culture is like in all countries, but in Britain, certainly, it's seen as really amateurish to kind of 20 seconds into the discussion with a group of people to whip out your cards and a dozen cards and kind of hand them round to everybody. It's seen as, well, what is the point of that? I don't even know if I want to talk to you again. So you really need a reason to exchange cards. And so you're listening out for problems or interests. They might say, oh, I'm really interested in doing this, or I've heard about this. So you're listening out for something to do with systemization, or systemization has a bearing on it. And then usually what I will have is I'm prepared with a verbal offer to my next event, and it's about systemization. So it doesn't matter what the event is. So if they've spoken about, I don't know, cash flow or employing people or whatever, okay, well, that's interesting. I'm running an event shortly on just that topic. Would it be okay if I sent you some details? They will always say yes. Why wouldn't they? Okay, here's my card. Would you mind giving me yours? So you've got a reason to follow up, and who knows, might even actually get them to the event, and then they're a real prospect. If another alternative is in the business coach kit, there are 300 plus guides and tools and God knows what. So whatever their topic of interest or problem is, you will be able to find something about that. So you can say, look, I've got some information about that topic. Would you mind if I send it to you? Would you find that useful? They'll say yes, of course they will. So again, you can exchange business cards and you have a reason to follow up. Okay. So otherwise, just exchange cards with no reason is seen as a bit naff, I think. Sometimes, if you're lucky, it does happen. It's happened to me a few times. Your discussion will actually lead to a meeting. Something along the lines of, okay, that sounds like something I could help you with. Why don't I come over to your office and you can tell me a bit more? If I can help, I'll explain how I help people like you. So it's pretty close to, they're clear this is a sales opportunity for you. They're clear that if they say yes and you go to their office or you meet somewhere, it's not just to talk about the weather or the coffee. They're moving down the path of, actually, this guy looks like he's going to try and sell me something. Okay, so don't bottle it. Make sure that they know why you'd like to meet. After the networking, we're systemization people. It's about improving processes, marketing, sales, networking, all of these things get better with practice. But we don't have bosses who are coaching us or training us. We have to do it ourselves. So we reflect on performance immediately afterwards. So did I qualify? Did I move on? How many people did I actually speak to? If it's only 2, I got that wrong. Okay. Don't ramble. Think back to what you said. Did I go on and on and on without figuring out a way to stop talking and still didn't actually tell them how my clients benefit from my services? Or was I succinct and did they understand it? Did I manage to get some cards through making the right offers? And then if you're doing lots of networking, you're sort of early days in this, before you go into the next meeting, think back to the last one. Okay, did I do these things right? This is what I need to improve this time. After the networking, follow up. Most people don't, because most people are aimless networkers. But we do, we follow up. So this is for the prospects where you've qualified them, you've exchanged cards. So not everybody you meet, because not everybody you meet will be a prospect. For those people, connect on LinkedIn or ask to connect on LinkedIn. Get an email to them within 24 hours. I'm always impressed by people I meet networking, and by the time I look at my phone or get back to the office, I've already had an email from them, or I've already had an invitation on LinkedIn. These people are switched on and professional. So you need to be switched on, professional, organized. You're showing them marketing is a process. You understand process. Do what you said you would do. So if you offered an invitation or a giveaway, make sure you get it to them. Add them to your CRM straight away. Do not be one of these people who's got a shoebox in their desk drawer full of mouldering business cards. We don't work that way. We take that card straight away and we get it on our CRM as quickly as possible with the source equal to networking, because I want to be able to look back, or you need to be able to look back at the end of a year or whatever, say, I've spent this much money on networking. How many prospects did I actually get out of it? Is it paying off? How effective is it? So you need this source. Now you can automate some of this stuff. I mean, you can automate it by giving it to an administrator, which, every week, give that person a bunch of cards from the week, say please put those on the database. But you can also automate it with some of the CRMs. Many will do this kind of thing. So this example is Infusionsoft. Other CRMs work the same way. So here's a phone screen, little camera icon, so you take a picture of the business card. That picture is sent off to I don't know, Mexico or somewhere, where some people kind of read it, type the details in to Infusionsoft and upload it. When it gets into Infusionsoft, in this case, there's got a campaign, which is their kind of name for a workflow. So, I've added to the network, I send a follow-up email, I set the lead source, I do some other logic, I tell the administrator, please add further information about it. So do some research on this prospect, size of business, sector, things like this. Okay, so this is fairly sophisticated, but again, it's about being, systemized about what you do. So if you're going to be teaching people, you need to be doing it yourself. Okay, the marketing plan, we talk about this in all of our marketing videos. So here we're talking about networking. So how many hours a month or year am I going to spend networking? What am I going to spend on it in terms of money? How many leads do I expect to get out of that, and how many sales do I expect to get out of it? Because if I'm spending, 3,000 quid and 1,000 hours on networking, I'm getting 3 leads and 1 sale. That's not really sustainable. So you might not know to start with, but you can certainly set a target. This would make sense if I could get this number. So set yourself a target. And then get it into the actual diary somehow. So this is showing you networking daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, what things you do. So presumably networking is weekly. I'm going to do 4 or 5 or 6 of these a week. This allows you to say, actually, how much time have I got for marketing? Does this make sense? Can I do this amount of all of these things with the hours available? And then clearly you need to take that and put it into your diary somehow, so that it prompts you, and you don't forget. So every week up it comes, book networking meetings. You go online, find meetings for the following 2 or 3 weeks, book them, pay for them, put them in your diary, and then it's done. And otherwise, if you don't do this, the danger is 2 or 3 weeks down the line, you think, I haven't done much networking recently. I've been busy doing stuff, I can't, other things, but my marketing has stopped. So you must have this in your diary to keep you doing it, or in your administrator's diary, if she's the one that looks after your diary. Finally, targets and measurement. All marketing needs to be against targets and performance measured against those targets. So here's an example. This one happens to include networking. So this particular business, they've spent directly £582 on networking in this period. That obviously doesn't include time, but it's a direct cost. They got 40 contacts from that, and each one therefore cost them £14.55p. So quite expensive compared with their average, but it tells them exactly how much it's costing them to get each prospect into the database from networking. So you need to be measuring something like that. So summary, effective networking requires a plan. And as with all marketing, it needs long-term commitment, steady, persistent effort. Network in the right places, and develop and improve your networking technique. Get better at it. Coach yourself to be better at networking. Finally, test and measure results. So that's it. Thanks for listening.